everybody. It's your girl, Pajama from Pajama Life. And today we have a really fun group of movies we're going to watch. We're going to talk about the Ted Lasso finale. We're going to talk about the 80s sci-fi classic, The Last Starfighter, which has been released in movies and on theaters and on demand, as well as our beloved Queen of Rock and Roll, Tina Turner documentary, the final one, named Tina. All right, but I can't do any of this without these two characters. So, hey, say hey to the people, Patrick.
Hey, everybody. Got some great shows to talk about tonight, so it'll be fun to talk.
Yeah, and then let's talk to our guy of all things Star Wars. Say hey to the people, David.
Hey, everybody. Great to be with you tonight. What a fun show, a memorable show, no doubt, for this evening as we look at these films. Thank you for joining us. So sit back, kick back, and let's get ready to talk some movies.
Yeah, so our first is, and it's wrapping up, or is it? The soccer classic, instant classic, Ted Lasso. Let's take a peek.
Boss? What's going on?
I just have one quick question for you. Are we ever going to win another fucking match?
We all know football is life, but a beautiful life is total football.
Where the fuck are my wings, Roy? Yeah!
I've actually been hearing rumblings of inappropriate workplace behavior over at West Ham.
See? Excellent girl talk.
Joking, right? We gotta go to a live sex show.
Oh, very cultural, Jerry.
Oh, please. The Eiffel Tower's just a lamppost with a publicist. Oh, my God!
But I do know, whatever it was, isn't what you're really angry about.
Do tell her that she's a fraud that preys on people's weaknesses.
But apparently I'm done fucking shit, because I'm still me.
To believe in yourself, to believe in one another, man, that's fundamental to being alive.
Well, there it is. Ted Lasso. I know I have a super fan. Patrick, how did you start us off?
I mean, if you do not like the show, you need to see what's wrong with yourself. I mean, really, this show is amazing from the beginning to end. It's inspirational. You see such wonderful character journeys throughout the 3 seasons. What great story arcs, and what a wonderful way to tie everything together. Everybody ended up probably where they should be. I mean, to be really honest, you saw little bits and pieces there in the clip. You saw Roy Kent's journey from the very first season when he was still a player, and just angry at everything, to him actualizing himself. You see Keely realizing she doesn't need a man. I mean, there were so many bits in this thing where everything came back around, and you saw everybody end up where they should be. And it was man, so well done, so emotional. I mean, like I said, if you don't like that, you need to probably check out what's wrong with you. There it is. That's the best thing, and the only thing I can say about that.
David, what did you think?
Strong words there. I almost wanted to do a selfie of myself and just look to see if there was something wrong with me. But I like the show, too. I think this is really wonderful. Jason Sudeikis isn't someone that I was really excited about seeing get into movies or other programming. He didn't grab me. I mean, candidly. He didn't. You're
starting off bad.
But it is what it is. But I do think, the show's good. He's great in this role. Really changes my opinion of him in many ways. Wonderful show. A lot of positive stuff here. So long to a really well done show that I think is going to have some lasting legs. I don't know if it's Andy Griffith or Cheers length, but I think that there is going to be a lot of folks who care about this show for a long time to come.
Yeah, so I don't if this last season was as good as the first 2 seasons. And I don't know if I love the finale the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
I did think there were some things left undone, like Keely Roy and
Jamie Cox.
I don't know how that ended up, and I'm like, well, what direction are they going in? And they kind of dropped the Rebecca and Sam Obasiah their kind of connection. So I was kind of like, well, is that it just there was some straight, and it was just kind of, I don't know, did Ted and his ex-wife get back together?
No.
I don't know. Well, why was he going to the house at the end?
Because his son was there, and that was the whole reason for him going back and leaving this lucrative career.
It sounded like she was a little sick of the ex-husband. I mean, the boyfriend. So I was kind of hoping something would happen there, and it didn't the way I wanted. So, but dude, I love the series overall. Most definitely. I thought it had a lot of things to say. I thought there was a great comment from Roy Kent when he said, can people change? And just lovely responses about that, because I think that was the core question of the whole series was, can people change? And beautiful sentiments around the different players. And but this season I felt like they just kind of jammed a lot in there. So it was a lot of stories that was kind of not distilled, but something positive for the whole family to watch. And something,
there is some language though.
There's language. Well, there's very strong.
Roy's favorite word is fuck.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of F-bombs, a lot of stuff, but your kids are already saying that in school and when they're not around you. So I'm just telling you how it goes. So I think that it's something positive, especially around helping your mental health. Yeah. So do I 100% recommend it? Of course I do. We all love Ted Lasso, so definitely check it out. All right, next up, the 80s sci-fi classic is back in theaters, and it is The Last Starfighter. Let's take a peek. Okay.
Gonna be a sparkling day.
Get ready. Prepare for blast off.
You really are leaving here, aren't you?
Yes, sir, folks. Step right up. Meet boy adventurer Alex Rogan on the last leg of his worldwide tour.
Hello. Can you tell me the name of the person who broke the record on that game over there?
You're looking at him.
I've seen him come and I've seen him go, but you're the best, my boy. He's got a little proposition for you. Interested? Welcome to Rylos, my boy.
Did you say war?
But of course. Why else do you think you're here?
Are you crazy?
You didn't tell me about any of this.
Star Navigator First Class Greg, at your service, sir.
How many are left?
Including yourself?
Yeah! One!
I'll have it all figured out by the time we reach the frontier.
What's that?
The frontier.
All right. Classic awesomeness from The Last Starfighter. Alamo Draft House, Cinema Draft House is now showing it in theaters around the country. It's almost 40 years old. And so if you are close to an Alamo Cinema Draft House and they have it showing there, go see it on the big screen. David, talk about it. You went to see it at Arlington. I mean, at our local cinema draft house.
Alamo. That's right. I didn't have to go to Behar to get there.
Yeah.
You know, all I can say is we've got trouble. right here in Rilo City. We got trouble. That starts with T and that rhymes with Z, and that stands for Zur.
Yeah,
Loved it.
Zur.
Loved it.
Boo.
This was just such a fun movie. And, you know, it's 90 minutes, so it goes by fast.
Yeah.
Historically, the footnote of this film is it was the first with the CGI instead of the models that Star Wars made. Man, this looks real. And they went a different way and have kind of helped us evolve into the CGI world we live in. A great story, a fun human story. Robert Preston is in this, really basically taking his role from the Music Man in the Rodgers and Hammerstein story and updating it with a DeLorean and not the band uniforms. And I absolutely love this movie. The beginning, the opening scene where Alex is interacting with his friends. Boy, this is, you could just put in like he did get a chance to go to Tashi Station and pick up those power converters. I mean, there is such a I would it was left on the cutting room floor, but those early scenes in Star Wars, they brought it here. That same kind of teenage angst, fun movie. See it. Super 7 in reaction. If you're watching us tonight, and I know you are, make the figures. Come back and give us the Last Starfighter figures that we didn't get in 1984. Come on, please do it.
Yeah, because the character of Robert Preston's alien character,
yep,
it was fantastic. That would be a great figure. And Zur, I mean, that was some great, you know, plus his scepter, that would be cool for any kid to have, you know. And so, yeah, I remember sitting in the theater alone watching this probably over and over and over again as a kid. I just love this movie.
Yeah.
And it was a cute movie for the time. It's something the whole family could watch. It's not, I mean, it's PG, I think, for violence, but you know, there's no like sex scenes or anything. It's just a story of a guy who inadvertently becomes the hero to the universe. So it's pretty cool. And I really like I think they have like a what is it, 4K version. I didn't get a chance to see it at the theater with David, but I got to see it on my nice TV, and it looks great now. They've, you know, updated it so that it really looks good. So it's a great family movie. The kids would love it. I think the themes are universal. When I watched it again, I was like, oh, this still tracks. I mean, the graphics are, you know, it's compared to what we can get now, you know, some people might be like, boo, but it's great story, fun story, and it's based on a book. So that's probably why you get a richer story about it. So I really enjoyed going back and looking at it. It's something that I could watch over and over on a Saturday afternoon or Sunday, you know, a rainy Sunday day or something. You would have a lot of fun with the kids. Pop it in for them or stream it. I guess they don't pop in anything.
Get all the 8-track version while supplies last.
It's on demand. You can find it. And so definitely, I think check out Last Starfighter. Pat, what'd you think?
You know, this movie is pure wonderful nostalgia.
Yeah.
I remember, like you were talking about seeing the movies, you probably saw it at the same theater I did, Indian Springs.
Yep, Indian Springs.
You know, and oh man, it's so good. And it's, you know, it's the only thing really dated is the outfits and the hairstyles. I mean, that's the only thing I mean, the story itself could translate quite easily.
Yeah.
Into a modern, instead of doing it on a coin op game, they could have done it on a PlayStation. It could have been the same. I mean, it's so easily translatable to kids that play games now. Like I was a kid that played games all the time. And this really spoke to me, you know, man, maybe I'm the guy who's going to pull the sword from the stone, which they make a reference to, which I think is hilarious still.
Yeah.
You know, are you putting stones in the stone? No, I don't do that anymore. It's a video game now.
Yeah.
You know? really good stuff, and it's well done. It's a fun story, and it becomes a buddy comedy kind of towards the midpoint, and really fun stuff. And I mean, it's just
great villain.
delightful.
Yeah, the what is it? The
Codon.
The Codon
Armada. Those guys, that's a great costume. I mean, that was great characters. And Zur, the spoiled kind of rich ruler who betrays his homeworld. I mean, that's fantastic. And it was kind of a cliffhanger that there could have been another one, which I wish it did. I mean, at the time, the first week, it didn't make near enough money. It ended up, I think, making a small profit. But in terms of its lasting impact and its cult status, pretty big cult status. So definitely, it's for the whole family. Check out The Last Starfighter. I think you'll enjoy it. All right. Now, in honor of our beloved Queen of Rock and Roll, undisputed Queen of Rock and Roll, this really fascinating final documentary of Tina Turner named Tina. Let's take a look.
You know when you meet an artist if they have got something that grabs you, and obviously it did to me, and she was also incredibly determined.
Roger said to me, "What do you want?" I had a dream. My dream is to be the first Black rock and roll singer to pack places like the Stones, those people that are packing those kind of places, you know?
I want to fill the rock stadiums, Roach, like Nick and Keith. I said, yeah, that's what we're going to do. I had no idea if we were going to do it, because there weren't any female rock artists in the world selling out football stadiums.
It's a little bit shabby, but that's what rock and roll is. It's shabby.
Having an audience ranging from about 15 to 60 was pretty amazing.
You can't imagine what it's like for me to finally stand there and draw all of those people. It's a feeling of like, I did it. And it's really genuine. It's almost like magic because you're standing there and they're really giving you the love.
Are you ready?
Okay. This was an excellent documentary. And I think one of the most important things it highlights is maybe in addition to her music and her rise, but also saying how devastating and how it created so much anxiety for people to keep talking about Ike and Tina and making her relive the very traumatic and devastating life that she had with that evil, horrible, demon-filled person that Ike Turner was. He was just horrible. And to know that she had, from an early age, her mom left unexpectedly, and then her dad left her and left her with the kids, and they had to be raised by a cousin. And it was I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that. And her never thinking that she was beautiful. And I was like, what are you talking about? But that's what she saw. And so understanding some of her struggles, not just with Ike, because who cares about him? Because he wouldn't have been anybody of note really without her. And he did some amazing things, but it was until she came along that catapulted him. And just the stories of how he abused, and really, she was right. He really did torture her. It was just sad. But what was even more sad were the people around them that allowed it to go on. That was devastating to understand. But then to see her triumph years later and to actually win in life, and her lasting impact can be felt on, you look at the singers today, Beyonce owes her a debt, and Rihanna owes her a debt, and just anybody out there who came from an abusive background, because she was really one of the first ones to speak about sexual and physical and emotional abuse in a marriage at her level, and really, have a story to tell. And so hearing and seeing her, and then understanding that, she had just passed away this week, really, it was so poignant to see her, and still see her until the final, year or two out there with her Broadway show. Was really great to see. What did you guys think? What do you think, Pat?
Tina Turner has always been an inspirational figure, for sure. And I mean, I was introduced to her like many of the people of our generation with Private Dancer. And even though I was aware of her with the Ike and Tina Turner stuff, but it was just very parenthetical, because it wasn't that big. I mean, it was big, but it wasn't that big. Man, Private Dancer, I got it on vinyl. It's still one of my favorite albums. It's such a good album. She was amazing, and she was definitely the talent in that group. I'm going to tell you, it's kind of like George Michael and Wham. No one talks about Andrew Wrigley because who cares? There were there's interesting groups of these people that were like duos, and you could tell who was the talent, and she was the talent. Right. And when she finally figured it out, you see it through the documentary they're talking about when she finally made that connection that, you can have all the old stuff. I just want to keep my stuff and my name, and I'll go on and I'll take care of me. Don't worry about it. You can have the old stuff. That's fine. Keep my name. And he's like, oh yeah, whatever, And she went on and she turned that into just nothing but gold. And
superstardom, not just like average.
Yeah, she made that leap she made from the Vegas shows.
Yeah.
That was an incredible, basically just redesigning myself from the ground up type of moment. And it was really impressive. And
it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Not at all. I mean, she was in her 40s at that point.
Yeah.
So
and she's in her 50s, and man, she still look hella good at 50.
Yes, Lord.
I wish I could look that
Lords
good.
of London legs that got insured for millions.
I'm saying it's great, and she will definitely be missed. I mean, I know her output had dropped over the past, but you know what? She's older, man. She was older.
She deserved to retire.
That's what I'm saying. When you get to a point, just enjoy your money and just sit around and have someone bring you breakfast to you. And I'll live in my big mansion, and you know what? I'll walk into the rooms; they'll be clean because I got someone that cleans the rooms, and I'll just today I think I'll go to wherever, and I'll just get on a plane and go. No big deal because you got the money. You did the work. Now enjoy the fruits. It was, and while I was sad that I didn't get to hear new stuff from her, I totally support and understand a person's job is to retire eventually.
Yeah,
and she did it.
And I'm glad to see that she retired. You see some of these people out there all old, they can't sing very well anymore, and you're like,
still trying though.
Still trying to sing or keep up with the young people. Madonna. I want to see them go out like Tina Turner, just retire, live your life happy. Well, David, what do you think?
Well, first, as a documentary, I thought it was just excellent. I thought it was a wonderful job. Too. I mean, just the way it was put together, the editing. Her story is a powerful one, and it's one that we need to pay heed to today. And thinking about where she came from, but where we might be headed as a country as we go forward. For instance, it wasn't until the late 1970s where a married woman could file an allegation of rape against her husband.
Yeah.
And obviously, this isn't the venue to get on all the legal stuff here, but I mean, that's a sobering comment. So the ability to have control over one's own autonomy, their own body, their own rights, that's a struggle that a lot of people have had, certainly African American women have had. And she really embodied how to deal with that and overcome that. There's a lot. I also love the fact that we see some of the things where she didn't want to do some of those songs. And
she hated Private Dancer. No, what's love got to do
What's
with
love got to do
She
with it?
hated that
She
song.
flat out didn't want to do it at all. She didn't consider it a rock song. I love the fact, as someone who loves the old rock and roll music, the fact that she felt like that's her roots, that's her world. I get that so much. But it's one of those things where it takes an ensemble of people and timing for success.
Yeah.
And there was an example where it was the right song with the right person,
Yeah.
in spite of what her initial thoughts,
Yeah.
to make it happen. I will say this. There's no defense of Ike Turner, but the documentary showed me something that I was absolutely shocked about. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah.
There's a group. He had a group early, a rock and roll group, and he even won a Grammy years later. And so, which is a fascinating thing where, we talk about today aspects of cancel culture and, what is or isn't appropriate. Here's a guy that everybody knew was just a horrific person who was a violent wife beater, just a really
disturbed person. I think he was really just disturbed.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, certainly if he wasn't, he absolutely was disturbed and needed a lot of counseling and a lot of something to be that violent. And here he was, though, later in years, in a very quiet world, at least as someone not as up on everything, the ins and outs of the music world, winning a Grammy late in life for the blues.
Yeah.
That to me is an extraordinary thing. So it's like, yes, she's amazing. She's incredible. Clearly, he did something. So it's fascinating. I mean, she's the class of the act. I'm shocked, though, at he actually continued to have any level of success.
Yeah.
Based on what he did.
And he was always in blues and that music. I mean, because he is the blues. He's terrible.
I'm gonna say the blues tends to favor, accept, maybe draw inspiration from that particular kind of an individual, and it seems to be accepted within that, or maybe not accepted, but it's definitely tolerated maybe a little bit better than perhaps in other spheres of music. It just seems that if you look at some of them old blues artists, man, they all had
issues.
They had issues. Yeah, issues. The best way I could put it. Yeah, that's exactly.
Well, and that art comes from pain sometimes.
Yes,
right?
that is so true.
So you may see some of the most damaged people producing some of the most beautiful art. So not always, not every person who's out there is damned, but
and it's
a lot of them probably aren't the most healthy people you want to be with. But but look what they create, that's out there in the world. So
and look at when she
I
did
was
it.
spending
That's
time
the
talking
other
about
piece
that
to it.
guy.
More
More
than
than
she
Tina
did
Turner.
her work, though, Pam. That's the other thing too. Is
Yeah.
you have these challenges, these problems. You're in an awful situation, and then you can still succeed.
Yeah.
There's still time for you to shine, and that's wonderful.
Exactly. When you think about, especially for women, a lot in the industry, and somebody says something very disgusting and terrible about her at the time, but that her in her 40s, and 50s could have the level of success that she has, just talks about it's never over until you in the grave. It's
right.
There's always a second chance. Look at us, Peach Life. We not the youngest chicks in the chicken coop, but we out here having fun, and success will come our way. So definitely, that's the lesson for us all: is it's never over until you're in the grave. Keep striving for your goals, keep dreaming, keep reaching for the stars. Hey, it's the 80s.
Sure.
So that's it for this week's. Definitely check out all of our reviewed shows this week, because they were all great. And next week we have it's coming finally to Disney Plus, Avatar, Way of Water. And a really interesting, looks cute, animated movie, My Dad the Bounty Hunter on Netflix, and the really kind of real interesting kind of series on I guess it's Max and HBO, The Idol, starring The Weeknd and Lily Rose Depp. So we'll see what that's about. So next week. And David, say good night to the people or give us some final words.
Everybody have a great week. Look forward to joining you again next time to talk about these movies. If you got an idea of some things you want us to talk about, shoot us a message. We'd love to hear about it and talk about it then. Until next week, be safe.
Hey, Patrick, say good night to the people.
Good night, everybody. For those of you still wondering, I have made it through the first shrine in Legend of Zelda, working my way through it. Didn't get to play much this week because I was out of town, but I'm going to get there. Everybody, keep playing, keep having fun. See you next week.
Hey, and I've got a special video about, guess where I went? Galaxy's Edge! So look out for a video, an unboxing, and a special video about something that happened pretty special. So we will see you next time on Pajama Life. Take care.